This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's indeed Clay's Canucks commentary live for Wednesday, September the 28th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. So glad you're here on this Wednesday night, the night before the Vancouver Canucks played their third preseason game of the season, even though it's only their second night of hockey, if you know what I mean. They had that weird split squad on Sunday. They lost both of them, but that's okay. I'm over it 3 days later. But yeah, we're going to talk about the game tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the practice lines, and I want to talk a bit about Vancouver versus Seattle. And actually, it's kind of funny, as Lucas kind of hinted already. I'm going to be talking about a bit of the rivalry, if there is one. But let me talk first, and then I'll get to you. But Lucas, thank you. Starting us off quickly, thank you for the donation. $5 says, KRAKEN who? Do expansion teams get sophomore slumps? I don't know if they can be any worse than they were last year, so can they even slump even worse? Moderators, thank you in advance. Do what you need to do. Members, thanks to all of you for your support, and to all of you, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston, in Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, in the country, on the continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. Know that I do not take you for granted. I know that you could be watching, doing anything else, but the fact that you are here with me, I appreciate you. So thank you. Like this video as we get going. Like the fact that the Canucks are playing tomorrow and they're getting at least some bodies back. At least they got one body back today, which I'll talk about. And I like the fact that we are building a great community here. So as we get going, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, then you can comment in the live chat. Like this video. Always appreciate donations, the gifting of memberships. People want to become members, but most importantly, simply happy that you are here with me tonight. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, thank you for making me the #1 hockey podcast in Chile. Yes, I've been #1 in Hong Kong, now Chile. Still got to work on the Canadian ranking, but that's okay. Can't get too greedy. But thank you all for being here. And if you're listening from Chile right now, I appreciate you as well. Okay, I think it's time that we get going. We start chatting and we start talking about our Vancouver Canucks hockey team. Today, they're at practice once again, and some good news. Sure, there's no Brock Besser. Sure, there's no Ilya Mikheyev, but Tyler Myers was practicing. So that's a good thing, because we weren't sure what was going to happen on the blue line, but indeed Tyler Myers was practicing, and Travis Dermott, though, did not practice because he took a hit yesterday. And it was interesting. Bruce Boudreau said he didn't even know who hit him or how he got hurt, but Travis Dermott left the ice yesterday kind of shaken up, kind of woozy, and unfortunately he did not practice today. So they were short. The Canucks were short then. Brock Besser, they were short Ilya Mikheyev, and they were also short Travis Dermott. But they made it work. I'm going to talk about the lines today. I'm going to talk about what we might expect tomorrow, and then I want to talk a bit about this whole Vancouver-Seattle Kraken rivalry and whether or not it's actually a rivalry. So the way that the Canucks lined up today at practice, they went Pearson, Miller, and Garland, and that's what we expect, because we expect... I just recognize that how crooked my video is. Give me a second. There, that's better. And for those of you listening on the podcast, sorry for that pause. So they went with Miller, Pearson, and Garland, as we expected, as many of you predicted 2 nights ago, Garland has been filling in on that top line for the injured Brock Besser. Then the second line was interesting. It was Horvat between Podkolzin and Lazar / Hoglander. Again, Podkolzin, Horvat, Lazar, and Hoglander rotating in as well. And then it looks like Horvat's not playing tomorrow, but I don't think Lazar's playing either. So be fascinated, curious to see, not fascinated, fascinated is too strong a word. I'll be curious to see who lines up with Podkolzin and Hoglander tomorrow if they're indeed both playing. Your third line was Pettersson between Kuzmenko and Linus Karlsson. So that's interesting. The two Swedes on one line together, Petey and Karlsson. And then the fourth line of Dickinson and Joshua with Phil DiGiuseppe. And then Niels Aman also rotating. I wasn't going to swear to worry. I was going to say shifting, rotating in on that. Then they went to their D pairings. And remember, no Travis Dermott. So they went OEL and Hughes. So that's a pairing that they've stuck with since the start of these post-training camp practices. They kept actually, that's the only one that they kept, because with no Travis Dermott, they had to move things around. So playing with Danny DeKeyser was actually Tucker Pullman again. Because remember, Myers missed yesterday's practice, so they kept Pullman with DeKeyser. So does that mean that's a second pairing for you? DeKeyser and Pullman? Not sure. Then there was a pairing of Shen and Myers, which is strange because Shen is a right-hander playing on the left side. And then there was Rathbone and Burrows. So maybe that's your de facto fourth pairing, even though you guys know how much I love Jack Rathbone. So that was kind of interesting. OEL and Hughes was the only pairing that didn't get affected. And then you had DeKeyser and Pullman, Rathbone and Burrows, and Shen and Myers. Not sure I'm thrilled with that Shen-Myers combo, but you can see with Hughes playing on the right side and with Travis Dermott out, now the Canucks were actually short left-handers. They only have DeKeyser and Rathbone behind OEL, so they had to use a right-hander on one of the pairings, and that was Luke Shen coming over. So that's how the Canucks practiced today. And then just to finish off the thought, then they tweeted out, do you guys remember earlier in the week when the Canucks, for their first preseason game, the split squads, they tweeted out their lineups. They weren't the lines though, but the way they tweeted them out, they tweeted out 3 forwards, 3 forwards, 3 forwards, 3 forwards, then 2 D-men, 2 D-men, 2 D-men. And of course, when I see 4 lines of 3 forwards each, and then 3 lines of 2 defensemen each, of course I'm going to think that those are the lines. But then I was like, why is Podkolzin playing center? And why is PD centering a line with 2 guys that he hasn't even practiced with? So then I realized, it took Sean, my son, to tell me that no, they didn't list them in lines or deep pairings. They listed them in numerical order. And that's why Garland, number 8, was a center, because he was the second guy listed. That's why Podkolzin was a center. And I can't believe, I think I'm a smart guy. I'm not the smartest guy, but I think I'm a pretty smart guy. I couldn't believe that I couldn't figure that out. That is really, really strange. So to their credit, or maybe to help people like me, the Canucks tweeted out their potential lineup, and it was in numerical order. But then it's funny. Now they have 13 forwards listed, but in numerical order, but across 3 lines of text, not 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's like 5 guys, and then 3 guys. So I'm not that stupid. There's no way. I know that they're not going to put 5 forwards out as one unit, 5 forwards out, and then 3. Same with the defensemen. Instead of having 2, 2, 2, they now have 2 lines of 4, and then they list 3 goalies. So that's kind of interesting. They actually have 13 forwards listed, 8 defensemen, and 3 goalies. So that's actually 24 guys. That's even more than the 23-man active roster. So obviously, they're giving themselves some wiggle room. With 13 forwards, they're obviously going to dress 12 and drop 1. With 8 defensemen listed, they're obviously going to drop 6 and drop 2, dress 6 and drop 2. And then with 3 goaltenders listed, they're probably, I don't think you can go 3 goaltenders even in preseason. So they're going to have to drop one of those as well. So having said all of that, this is who's playing tomorrow night. Lockwood, Garland, Miller, Sheldon Dries, Hoglander, DiGiuseppe, Pettersson, Pearson, Joshua, Aman, Podkolzin, Karlsson, and Kuzmenko. Now remember, that's 13 names I just listed for 12 spots. But I do see Miller, Garland, and Pearson all there. So we'll likely see that top line. Then I don't see Horvat or Lazar or Dickinson. So then I think you have a line with Petey between Kuzmenko and maybe Carlson. Then I could see Podkolzin playing with who knows after that, because I guess your centers after that are Sheldon Dries can play in the center, and then I don't know who else plays in the middle. Maybe Niels Amon. Yeah, maybe it's Dries and Amon are your two other centers. So it kind of breaks down after that with no Horvat, with no Dickinson, and with no Lazar. But at least we'll see the top line of Miller, Garland, and Pearson, and then we'll see a second line center with Petey, probably Kuzmenko, and then whether it's Podkolzin or someone else on that line. Then on D, this is interesting. They list 8 D-men: Rathbone, DeKaiser, Pullman, Ekman Larson, Hughes, Burrows, Juleson, and Wolanin. So the easy thing would say they don't play Noah Juleson and Christian Wolanin, and then you have Rathbone, DeKaiser, Pullman, Ekman Larson, Hughes, and Burrows. Then you can go OEL and Hughes. You can go Rathbone and Burrows, and you go DeKaiser and Pullman. And I think that's what they're going to do, because that was at least 3 pairings that we saw today. Again, OEL with Hughes, DeKaiser and Pullman, and then Rathbone and Burrows. That means Shannon and Myers aren't playing, but Myers played on Sunday. And then I wouldn't dress Juleson and Wolanin unless you want to see what they look like in game action. And then they have 3 goalies listed: Silovs, Demko, and DiPietro. Maybe only 2 of those guys dress, but we will see. We will see who it is. And then Jason just says, are they dressing a full lineup tomorrow? I'm not sure if Jason was listening. I just listed out all the guys that are playing tomorrow. And yes, they're probably, I'd say you have 6 of your top 12 playing. Or maybe, actually, no, you got Joshua and Di Giuseppe. So maybe you have 9 of your top 12 playing. The only ones that aren't actually are Horvat, Lazar, Dickinson. So yeah, you have 9 of your top 12 playing with no Besser, no Mikheyev. You have technically 4 of your top 6 or 6 of your top 8 defensemen playing. And yeah, if Demko plays, then you have your top goaltender. So we will see what happens tomorrow and how they line up. Last thing I want to talk about for a couple of minutes, and then I'll turn it over to all of you. And Rosario, I see in the chat that you are in protocol, that you tested positive Monday night. Sorry to hear. I hope you recover very quickly, Rosario. By the way, Rosario is my seatmate. I'm in section 319, row 13, seats 1 and 2, and Rosario is in seat number 5. But I guess I won't see him tonight, although I'm still trying to sell my tickets actually for tomorrow night as well in the Upper Bowl. Finally, Vancouver Canucks, Seattle Kraken. I think you'd agree with me right now that it's not really a rivalry. It's not really a rivalry. In fact, aside from the geography, the only thing linking them is a feel-good story of Nadia Popovic, and the way we know the story of how she observed a mole, a potentially cancerous mole, on the neck of trainer Brian Hamilton, nicknamed Red. She wrote a note on her phone saying, hey, you should go get that mole checked out. He saw it, he did it, and he probably saved his life. So that was a really good story. It made local, national, international news, and rightfully so. Nadia has moved on to a great, she's in med school, I should say, down in the Pacific Northwest. And I still stay in touch with her once in a blue moon. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool story. And that was really the biggest story that has linked Vancouver and the Seattle Kraken. So my question to you, before I get to my question to you, is we know that rivalries are usually based on one of 2 things. Usually they are based on playoff series, intense, memorable, scrappy playoff series. That's how Colorado and Detroit became such big rivals. Edmonton and Calgary, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, Boston and Montreal, Toronto and no one. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I thought that was pretty funny, actually. So rivalries are born in the playoffs. That's one way that rivalries are born. The other way that rivalries are born is when something really nasty happens, like a dirty hit or a bench clearing brawl, i.e. Vancouver, Calgary with Torts and and Bob Hartley. So something like that can also spur a rivalry. And I guess the third thing would be year upon year, year after year of really competing in the standings, jockeying for first and second or whatever it may be. But I think that's a distant third. I think playoff intensity and matchups is the number one way you create a true rivalry. Number two is if something crazy happens, an incident happens in a game. And number three, it's battling each other in the standings. So that's my three criteria for a rivalry. So as I go into my mid-show sponsor read, I want you to tell me a couple things. I want you to tell, and I'm going to prioritize these comments in answering asking this question. And before I ask it, I will, kind of what Lucas says. This is what I'm going to get at. Says he's chatted with Nadia too. That's awesome. She's very nice. I actually chat with her mom quite a bit. That sounds weird when I say it like that, but I can say it without smirking or without thinking anything bad. Yeah, I chat with Nadia's mom. There, I've said it. I chat with Nadia's mom. Anyways, I chat with Nadia too. I believe you're nice. Kraken Canucks in rivalry is a rivalry in name only. And that's kind of what I'm going to get at. So this is what I'm going to ask you as I go into the mid-show sponsor read. 3 questions, really. Do you think that Seattle-Vancouver is a rivalry right now? What would it take for them to become rivals? And kind of goes with that. Do you agree with my 3 criteria, or do you think there's something else that's got to happen for these 2 teams to become rivals? And remember, my criteria for a rivalry is either playoff matchups, it's like a dirty or a very intense incident in one of the games, or it's year after year battling in the standings. So those are kind of like my 3 criteria. I would love to hear your criteria, and in answering that, you can also answer then, is Seattle-Vancouver a rivalry, and what would have to happen for it to be so. Halfway point. So I want to thank my sponsors. First, my lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. I want to thank Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. You can sign up now for a free 7-day trial with Coach Patrick, my trainer, at that link that you see rolling across the screen, performandtransform.ca/Canuck Clay. Also want to thank Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine artwork. I want to thank Monkey 9 Brewing, my eternal sponsor. And I want to thank Vessi Footwear, my brand collaborator. Use the code Canuck Clay at checkout, vessi.ca, and save $15 off every pair of shoes that you buy. Let's get to your comments now about rivalries. And I'm glad that, so Rosiero says, I think that Canucks Seattle one will take time. I agree with you completely. Darren liked it when I said Leafs and no one. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Daniel says Seattle would make a great series in the playoffs. Easy to watch it in Seattle if you miss out on Canucks tickets. Yeah, that's why we want playoff rivalries, because that's the border of the I-5, 2-hour drive. If you have Nexus, that's pretty cool. Wow, Chris asked, and it happened. We went from 10 to 22 likes. Thank you, Chris. I always appreciate your support. Lucas says it'll be years before it becomes a geographic rivalry. It'll likely be based on playoffs, most likely. There you go. Coach Rob is saying already, yes, they're a rival because they're so close to us. That's fair. Hi, Steel Dog. I've actually had Shannon on my show once before, and maybe I could do that again. But yes, I did that once before earlier this year. Rosero, watching the Canucks in Seattle is expensive. A single ticket in the nosebleeds cost me an arm and a leg down there. Well, we don't want you to leave your arm and your leg, or your leg, down in Seattle, Rosario. Clifford, to become true rivals like the Canucks Flames, you need lots of playoff series. That's kind of like what I was saying. That was my first criteria for rivalry. Japan forces a Canuck elbowing right or Beniers in the head will start a rivalry. I would agree with you. Lucas says, depends on the competitiveness and battles in the playoffs. It'll be years before it becomes like the Battle of Alberta. I don't have much disdain for the Kraken franchise. Yeah, right now there's no reason to dislike them, because they didn't come out of the gates as quickly as Vegas did. Harry says, I'm just happy. I'm excited to go to the home opener and glad that hockey is back. That is awesome. Justin says, imagine if Seattle gets Bedard. Beniers, right, Bedard versus Miller, Petey Bow, all down the middle. Yeah, and you could argue that their 3 might be better. Sidhu, I don't think Seattle Van is a rivalry yet, but if Vancouver keeps beating Seattle in every games like last year and both teams meet in the playoffs, eventually become a rivalry. Yeah, but it's going to take both teams to get in the playoffs first to even meet. Chris, personally, I don't think it'll be an actual rival for the next few years. Kraken has to grow quite a bit. I think that's fair. Steel Dog says, in my opinion, or were you saying my last name? Emo, Canucks and Kraken need to make the playoffs. I agree. Harry says, I think Seattle Canucks will be a rivalry when it comes down to points in the standings or the playoffs. Okay, so 2 of my criteria. Fangirl going off the board says, out of Silovs, Demko, and DiPietro, which 2 will we see in tomorrow's game? I'm going Demko and DiPietro. No, actually, although DiPietro played in Calgary, right? But Silovs played there. I think Demko... Yeah, it's going to be Demko for sure because he hasn't played yet, and one of Silovs or DiPietro. Maybe it's going to be Silovs. Rosario says Leafs and the first round is a good rivalry. That's pretty funny, Rosario. Ellie Women's Kings Ducks were a rivalry, but increased tenfold when they met in the playoffs. Great point. Clifford says, no, we don't need another Claude Lemieux type rivalry. Yes, Lemieux and Chris Draper. Avalanche and Red Wings. Shannon, I think Canucks and Seattle are kind of a rivalry now, but not really yet because they are not in the playoff series yet. That's totally fair. C-Edits, welcome. I'm glad you're here tonight. I don't see it becoming a rivalry until Seattle's a playoff team. Nothing at stake yet. Great point. Funk you, I think one day we'll see a player with a flat blade stick who can make plays both-handedness. Oh, I see what you're saying. So there's no such thing as a forehand, backhand, or at least the curve would not indicate so. That would be interesting. Jason, did they announce the lineup for tomorrow yet, or will that happen tomorrow? So, Jay, I'm not sure if you're watching in real time or if you have me on mute. I actually went through that in the first half of the stream. I talked about all 23 guys that they announced, the 24 guys that they announced tomorrow, but they can only dress 20. So 4 of the guys that they mentioned will not dress. Harry, if the Canucks get Jack Hughes, who would we trade up for draft picks and a player or a player? What? If the Canucks get Jack Hughes, who would we trade up for draft picks and a player or a player? Oh, okay. If the Canucks get Jack Hughes, who would we trade up for draft picks and a player or a player? If the Canucks got Jack Hughes, who would we trade up for? Harry, you're going to have to ask that again. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's me and not you, but can you re-ask that? I actually don't know what you're asking there. King RJ, we are doomed. Our top 2 players are injured plus Dermott. Well, that's if you call Besser and Mikheyev our top 2 players. Steel Dog thinks Silovs will play tomorrow. Lucas, the Kraken are the opposite of what Vegas is. Not boasting about their success out the door, building up instead of throwing all the chips right away. Yeah, it almost worked for Vegas, though. That's why a lot of us don't like them. But we will see what happens with Seattle. Fillmore Wax, as a Canucks fan living in San Jose, I'm once again working for a rival. I recently accepted a position as control room technician for the Sharks and Barracuda at the SAP. That's awesome. Congratulations, Fillmore. That sounds like a really, really cool job. Congratulations. And hello, Carol. Welcome. Would I trade Pedersen for Beniers? That's a really good question. I think you'd have to consider it for sure. And that's not to say I don't like PD. You guys know I love PD. But Matty Beniers could even be better than PD. I think you have to look at that for sure. No problem, Jay. You're a busy man. I know you got things always going on. I will send you, if you look up the Canucks, actually tweeted, Canucks PR tweeted out what the lines are. Or not what the lines are, but who the potential players are. Hey, Carol, I just got your text saying that you can't get in, but I guess you're in. So I'm glad you're in. And Carol, thank you for the $2 donation. LA Women's Hoops, Canada Soviets never played, but it was a rivalry in the 72 Summit Series. Yes, and today, I got your tweet, LA Women's Hoops, is the 50th anniversary of Paul Henderson's memorable goal, Game 8 of the Summit Series. Canada was down, they were down 1-2-1, and then the Soviets won Game 5. So it was 1-3-1. So then Canucks, Team Canada won Game 6, Game 7 to make it 3-3-1, and then Paul Henderson scores as the hero to win Game 8. It's weird that you hear Game 8 because one of the games ended in a tie. Sidhu, I was watching a live police chase on the ABC News YouTube channel. The criminal surrendered at 10:59 p.m. Looks like the criminal remembered it was time for Clay's stream and didn't want to miss it. Yes, I attract all types to this stream, and you guys are living proof of that. Taylor, I love the Battle of Alberta, Battle of New York, Battle of Florida, Battle of Cali for teams. Definitely Bruins versus Canucks, Habs or Leafs or Hurricanes. There's more that I like, but that's all for now. No, that was a pretty good list. Coach Rob, Harry is asking who would you have to give up to get Jack Hughes. Well, that's a good summary. I think to get Jack Hughes, you are giving, just like we thought we wanted 3 or 4 assets for Miller, I think you're starting with 4 assets. You're starting with 1 or 2 draft picks, high draft picks, 1 or 2 prospects, and a roster player. So maybe 4 or 5 assets. Jay says maybe only a draft pick and a player or player only. I don't think that's enough for Jack Hughes, quite frankly. Chris, my little cousin from Toronto is a Hawks fan. He thinks they are going to tank for Bedard, saying that he also thinks the Canucks are going to do the same. Yeah, I don't think the Canucks will tank for Bedard. And yes, I usually don't say the T word, but I'm talking how the Canucks won't do it. But I never say it when I'm talking about the Canucks doing it, if that makes sense. Basically, that's my way of saying you guys got me to say the T word. If the Canucks acquire Jack Hughes, who would we give up? A draft pick and a player or just a player? I see what you're saying. Thank you, Harry, for adding those question marks. That helps a lot, truly. I think it's actually more than that. I think it's more than a draft pick and a player. I think, like I said, we're looking at 4 or 5 assets. Lucas, you know what would be a rivalry that actually depends obviously on the strength of the assets. You know what would be a rivalry that would be awesome if the NHL did this and had a team in the city? Chicago, Milwaukee. Very good. Carol, no need to apologize that you're late. Seattle and Vancouver can be a rivalry. I think that we're going to beat them for sure. What are your thoughts? Yeah, overall, we are a much better team and we shouldn't lose. We should go way over 500 against them for sure, but I'm not sure if that makes them a rivalry. We should T for Bedard. We need a superstar. I think we can get by with the guys we have. When do I think more roster cuts happen? Probably after tomorrow's game, Fangirl. Not after tomorrow's game, like tomorrow night. I think on Friday. Clifford says, PD breakout year, 40 and 50 for 90. Yeah, I'm predicting 85 for him. Brad, hey Clay, where is that Luongo print in your background from? I feel like I've seen them for sale somewhere, but don't recall. Yes, actually, Brad, I talk about them all the time. Gassy Jack Art. GassyJackArt.com, one of my channel sponsors. Once in a while, I'll give away some of his artwork. Gassy Jack Art. Thanks for asking. Justin, Canucks will never tee. Frankie Aquilini will never allow it, nor will Bettman allow it. Sidhu, did Coolio... I didn't know that Coolio passed away. Wow. Rest in peace indeed. Yes, Coolio did pass away. Thank you. King RJ wants us to get a generational talent. Golden Eye Forever says it's not a rivalry until they get Brad the Rat Marchand. Any truth behind Rachel Dory being fired? I saw those rumors a lot. I know Donnie Taylor talked about it on Donnie and Dolly. Haven't seen anything confirmed, but she did delete all of her tweets. And Chris says to everyone, like the stream if you haven't liked it already. Yes, a huge number. This is our biggest number for a non-Sunday stream in a while. Glad you guys are here. Anula says, why do we want Jack Hughes? Bettman says, oh, you're asking me, Anula? I don't know. I think there's an appeal to him and especially partnering him with his brother. Justin, Bettman would see us tee and penalize us knowing Canucks luck and have surrender the pick for Edmonton for kicks. Yes, that is a bunch of bad things together. Harry, no, I don't follow really any other teams in the preseason or watch. No, I don't really care about any other teams. Edmund, you think Garland can get 20? Absolutely, yes. How high will the cap be for 2024? I think it's going to only go up by $1 million for 23-24. Edmund wants the Kaiser to make the team. Okay, that's fair. Sharms, hey, Clay, hope all as well as the team back to practicing at UBC. Yes, they were this week. Who do I think is going to score the first goal of the regular season? Pedersen or Kuzmenko? Lucas says, one rivalry the NHL needs to have is Battle of Quebec. Nice. Nordiques Canadians. I like it. Edmund says, I thought of all the masks Luongo had, the one he wore in his first year in Vancouver was the best. That one was good. And it was by heart attack that Cooler passed away. Thank you, J-Kid. I think he's 59 years old, I just read. Cole says, Thursday, Friday, Monday, next 3 preseason games for Canucks. What will be the record through the next 3? Clayton. Well, I used my full name, Clayton. I think Cole, that I don't even know who they're playing. Well, I know Thursday they're playing Seattle. So they'll go 2-1. That's my guess. Dangerous Minds is a good movie. I haven't seen it. Jay, yeah, 59 years old. For Coolio. Lucas, I was shocked. Shannon, how many more preseason games do the Canucks have? They have 5 more, excuse me. They have 7 total, and they've only played 2. Yeah, I think this one has been confirmed, Lucas. Thoughts on Dakota Joshua? He has looked like a tank out there. He is massive, but not massive like super built. He's compact built. I don't know how to explain it, but he's big. He's a tall guy, but he's not that any hockey players are fat. What am I trying to say here? He's got a good, like, compact but tall body. I saw him at the golf course. I am excited to watch him play tomorrow for sure. For sure. Yeah, Jay. She just moved out here too. Reading Jake Vertan is not doing well in Edmonton, not surprised. Me neither. I did not know that though. Yes, pray for residents of Florida for sure. Sharms, Clayton Keller must be your new favorite player. Well, it was interesting. In the year that Brock Besser and Keller and Barzell were fighting for the Calder, Clayton Keller had my name. Brock Besser played for my team, and Matt Barzell was from our basically our province. So I had not a connection, but I had a little bit of a tie to each of the 3. Yes, Shannon, they actually recognized and honored, did a small tribute to Stan Smeal's late wife at the game on Sunday. Yeah, you got me to say the T word. I got to be better. Yes, my full name is Clayton, but only my wife and my mother call me that, and only when I'm in trouble. Justin, interesting news and rumors about Dory. She was in line for an assistant role on the bench. The deleted tweets are a mystery, but she also still has Canucks on her Twitter. Yes, and she's not afraid to like certain tweets that some would say are controversial, so we will see what happens. Dakota Thick. Chris, I was baffled about the Dory hiring to begin with. I'm not surprised whatsoever of her being like, oh, yeah, if that's true. Joshua is thick. Is that the word you're looking for? Sure. Harry, I'm excited that Miller and Hughes are back in the lineup. Our best forward and our best defenseman as of last year. Smeal did a lot for Ronald McDonald House. That is pretty cool. Lucas says, I know the Buccaneers in the NFL. If it's unsafe to play at Raymond James, they'll play at Minneapolis. Interesting. Chris, that was my fault, Clay. I'll take credit. All good. Dominic, Joshua, Shannon Burrows, DJ Stepping Arsenal. We got some toughness, which I love. Yes, but how many of those guys are actually going to be on the team? That's the tricky part. Are preseason games cheaper than regular season tickets wise? In theory, yes, but they still cost us the same as season ticket holders because they just average the total cost out by the number of games. But when you price them, you should price them cheaper than regular season games. Yes, King RJ, I heard about the Francesco news, but I care not to speak of it on this stream. You're right. No more T word. Have you been to a game where a career milestone was reached? 500 goals, 1,000 points. I saw the great one score goal 802. Wow. I think I was there when Henrik hit 1,000. I'm pretty sure. Because wasn't that against Luongo? Yeah, then I was there. Do you think Bruce is going to bring back the WWE belt? Maybe, or maybe he might try something different. That's a good question. Some people are saying Aquilini should sell the team, but I won't get into that today. No need to say my bad. If you weren't here, you would have no idea, and it's fine. You ask what you want, for sure. Dominic, realistically, I think out of those 5, we see Joshua and Shen. I think that is fair as well. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up here, you guys. I got I got to read you this text though that I got. So it's a woman who texted me a picture. She's a relatively decent looking woman. She goes, I'm Karen. This is my picture. Do we know each other? I just saw your number in the contact list, but there is no note with any name. Please tell me who you are. I have a feeling that this is not legit, and therefore I will not reply because I did not have this person in my contacts list. So very flattered that she would think that she wants to know me, but pretty sure this one is a spam. Okay, I will finish off. Shannon says, I sure wish I could afford to pay so I do not have to ads play before a stream. I miss Bruce at the start. Yeah, but you know what he says, Shannon. I'll play it for you right now, actually, before I go, so you can watch it one more time. Stoked for the actual season. Taylor. Justin says Galchenyuk was cut. Do you think the Canucks go for a cheap deal for him? No, I don't think they go for him. Lucas says, which jersey would you be looking to buy next? As I mentioned before, probably a road jersey for sure. Aquilini news in a different stream. Indeed. Yes. Lucas says that text was probably from a scam artist. King RJ, you better not reply. Scammers out there. Yes, I agree. Damn, bold choice. What's that? About the scammer? I can't remember what it was. Lucas, love those confidence trick scam artists. Shannon says, have a great night. Charlie says, good night. I say mail to Charlie. Cheers. And finally, Clifford says, I just got a text from an Ontario number at 11:22 at night about CRA clerical error. Yes, do not believe those. And finally, Harry says, what time will the live stream be on when there's game days? 11 p.m. 11 p.m. every night. That's the point, because going to a lot of the games. I can't realistically do post games. I did post games when the Canucks were in the bubble. I did a post game every game. That was a lot of fun. That helped grow the channel. Then last year, as I was back at the arena, it was simply not possible, not feasible. And I think 11 o'clock will be nice. We can come, we can chill. I don't have to rush to stream. Then that's after all the dust has settled, the interviews, the press conference, all those things. So I think it will be a good thing to do. And Sidhu says, will we still have members only streams? I'm not sure if that makes any sense, quite frankly. But I will think about that. And if we don't do that anymore, I will look at a way to replace that within the perks of membership. Friends, thank you. That was a lot of fun tonight. Before I do my wrap up, I will show for Shannon and for anyone who doesn't get here at the start, here is what my intro looks like at the very start. So I'll play this once and then I'll wrap up properly.
This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
So there we go. That's the intro. And if you've never been here because you don't get here on time, now you can say that you've seen it. So friends, thank you for being here tonight. I might be going to the game tomorrow night. I'm not sure, still figuring that out. But if you are looking to go to the game, I'm selling my pair of tickets in the upper bowl for $60. Yes, $60, $30 each. I'm selling it way below cost because I admit it's pretty hard to sell Canucks tickets for the preseason. So if you'd like to go to tomorrow night's game, shoot me an email at canuckclay@gmail.com. If you go, you'll see Justin working there. But yes, shoot me an email right now. First come, first serve. Selling tomorrow night's game for $60 total for 2 tickets. At least I was able to sell the lower bowl. That's a little more scary always. So thanks for being here. Moderators, good job. It sounds like you didn't have to do too much tonight, which is a good thing. Let's relish that. Members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, and legendary Andrew Chang. All 3 of you were in here. Thank you for your support. Thanks to all Hall of Fame and franchise members as well, including the 5 new ones that joined yesterday. Thanks to Justin's generosity. That's the word I was looking for. So thanks to all of you. To everyone who donated tonight, I think that was Lucas, and Carol. Thank you. To anyone who became new subscribers, thank you. And to all of you, even if you're simply sitting there, taking it all in, typing, watching, listening, I appreciate you just as much as well. So subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a donation, gift membership, become a member, upgrade if you'd like to, and always happy for you to leave comments on my videos, either on the live streams or on the regular ones. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks very much for listening. Helping make me number 1 in Chile, and continue to rate and review the podcast wherever you listen to it. And for all of you, tomorrow night, I'll be back at 11 p.m. Not sure if I'm going to do a vlog during the day because I'll be in Surrey all day for a day-long workshop, day-long work meeting. So maybe the next time you'll see and hear me will be 11 p.m. tomorrow night, and hopefully we are talking about a Canucks win. So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And I got to tell you, I'm actually reading a horror story in Braille. It's very fascinating, but something bad is about to happen. I can just feel it. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.